Hello again, and welcome to another episode of On That Note. So glad to see you could tune in today. Hey, I just wanted to mention, if you like what you hear and what you see at the end of this video, don't forget to hit that like button and share with your friends and family so they can enjoy it too. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel here, and there's other links you can interact with at the end of the video. Just wanted to mention before we get things started today that the CD that I have, More Than Meets the Eye, is now available on iTunes, Spotify, Rhapsody, Shazam, Google Play, Amazon MP3, and so many more that I couldn't possibly think of all of them because there's just way too many. So you can check out my Facebook page or my website, www.jocelynjobin.com. And check out all the latest news and where we're distributing the album. And yeah, just check it out. So, let's get right into the nitty-gritty today. I wanted to talk to you today about a subject that's kind of something that I've had to learn over the years. And it's one of those things where you just can't read it in a book. You kind of have to experience it. But I'm going to do my best to kind of share with you my experiences in that and kind of give you some tips and tricks in this general area to maybe help you along that journey that you're going to take or that you're in the middle of or that you've already started or whatever. So the title of today's episode is It's All Up to You. And what I'm going to be talking to you about is the who's, the what's, the where's, the when's, the why's, and the how's of your passions. And kind of where they sit and come into play and everything to do with that. So we're going to dive in deep today. So, here we go. So, when it comes to your passions, there's always times where you're going to be reflecting. There's always going to be times where you're going to be looking at it and saying and asking yourself questions. And this is very good. This is awesome. You need to ask yourself those questions. They're probably the most important part of your passion and of what you want to do. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is what. Clearly, first we need to find a passion. So if you're confused at what you're passionate about, just take a moment and allow yourself a moment to think about it. And think, what do I love to do more than anything? It could be being outside and raking the leaves, doing yard work, doing gardening. It could be inside, cooking, baking. It could be cleaning. It could be jogging. It could be writing. It could be singing. It could be helping people. It could be doing arts and crafts. It could be you love children, so you love to, play with children or babysit, or, everybody says you're so good with children, you're so good with children. Typically, if you can't find what your passion is, or you're not quite sure what it is, I can almost guarantee you that if somebody says to you on more than one occasion, wow, you are so good at that, man, you just blow my mind. You're so good. Or somebody just says, wow, you know something? You're really good at that. You're very good. And you don't hear them saying that to other people, right? Typically that means that, if you're really good at that area and you really, really, really enjoy it, that could be an area of your passion. I'll give you an example. For me, when I was little, I'd be playing harmonica and singing, and I'd have people coming up to me. I'm very, 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 very shy. You'd never believe it now. But I was so shy, but when people came up to me and they'd say, oh, I love your voice. Oh, I love the way you sing. It's so beautiful. It's so soft. It's so soothing. It's so comforting. It's just, wow. It's something I've never heard before. And I started hearing things like this, throughout my life. Like I went to a public school and I was in my choir. And in the midst of a choir, somebody's parent came up to me. I don't even know who they were. I don't even know whose parent they were. And they came up to me and said, wow, all of you were fantastic together. But she says, but you were very, very good. You were so good. And she says, I think you've got a gift there. And so, it made me think, obviously I still remember that. I mean, that was when I was singing Inchworm and, all those funny little nursery rhymes when I was in public school. And then when I got to high school, I jumped into concert band and music class, and I noticed I was getting 90s and close to 100 each time in my music classes, on my tests, on my playing exams, and just these things were coming very naturally for me, and I wasn't trying extremely hard. Like math, I barely passed math through high school. I don't even know how I got through it. I had really good teachers, and so when I whizzed through this music stuff, and my music teacher was constantly saying stuff like, wow, you got perfect pitch, or like, that was really good control, or, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I was so shy and I had such low self, like, I had insecurity issues. I was like, oh no, that's not true. But you hear it enough from enough different people, then you start to think, oh, maybe it is true. I don't know, maybe there's something true about that. And so what you'll notice about your passion is, 1, you love it. 2, other people will see that in you, and a lot of times they'll comment about it. Not always, but you have to be exposed to people in order for that to happen, right? So if you like to do it privately, that may not happen. And there's nothing wrong with that. And 3, it has to come naturally to you. And then that doesn't mean that there isn't hard work involved. That means that generally this thing comes naturally to you. When we talk and we speak in English language, we don't have to think about it because it comes natural to us. We've done it since we were kids. Well, your passion is going to be kind of similar to that. You kind of just know what to do. So first you need to find out, what is my passion? What is that one thing that if I lost everything else in life, I could still have this and I'd still be happy. I'd still be excelling in life. I'd still have something to hold on to. So there's the what. And then I really think the next thing you need to find out is why. Why is this your passion? Why do you want to do this? What is your heart in this? What are your short-term and your long-term goals with it? These are things I never thought I'd have to think about until I realized. I sat down and thought, wow, this is happening, For example, after high school, I went to a church, and I was a worship leader there for first I was a youth band director, and then I realized, okay, wow, I got to get some goals in here. I got to do some improving. I've got to work with band members. I've got to work with schedules. I've got to work with learning new music. I got to work with a rotation schedule. I got to work with new songs, new material, getting approval processes. I had to start planning, and I had to start saying, okay, where do we want to be in 6 months? Where do we want to be in 5 years? And so that required a lot of planning and a lot of stretching on my part. Because, again, I was super shy back then. That really forced me to kind of come out of my shell and learn how to speak and sing in front of people. And then on top of that, lead a band of teenagers who are very, very passionate. And they're so fantastic. They are still fantastic. I love each and every one of them. I'm so proud of all of them for where they're going today. And I'm so glad I was a part of that. And I also then was asked to be a part of the adult worship team. And then I became one of 3 worship leaders, and I was 21 when that happened. So I was 21, the other worship leader was probably in their 40s, and the other one was in their 50s. So there was a lot of stretching in that part too, and I had to make some long-term and short-term goals for myself there too. I really had to think, why am I doing this? What is my purpose? Right? So when you're thinking about it, it's a totally different atmosphere than playing alone in my room, playing guitar, not in front of anybody, or even just like around family. This was totally different. I was now leading a group of adults or teenagers in a totally different atmosphere in public in front of a lot of people. So it required a different kind of demand, a different way of thinking, a different way of using my passion. So you really got to think about what's your heart behind all of it. And so why? Like, why are you doing this? What's your purpose? Why do you even want to do this in the first place? What do you hope to gain? And so when I think about why, for me, and in particular for, I even say this show, or my album, or the reason why I run for my passion, which is music in general, and singing and playing and songwriting, it's just so that for me, my heart is, it's always been, if one of my songs can make one person in the world smile, or give them a glimpse of hope, or make them feel happy, or make them feel like it's going to be okay, then I feel like I've achieved my goal. So that for me is an ongoing goal. It's a now goal, it's a short-term, and it's a long-term goal. And it was also a past goal. So, if I can make one person smile, that's great, but why stop there? So I had to think, okay, so I made somebody smile with a song, but I'm not going to stop there, so let's try to make more people smile. Let's try to touch more people. Let's try to reach more people. Let's try to relate with people on an earthly base mentality level where people understand that I have something that, I've had struggles and I've had hardship and heartache, and I am not perfect. I'm messed up too, so, I'm just a girl with a guitar singing my hurts and my joys and my life away, hoping to share some of that with somebody, so that somebody can connect with it. So why? For me, I'm going to continue to want to touch people. And that's the whole reason. That's what drives me. And that's part of the what. There's the big passion part, right? So that's why I've got a passion to touch people through my music and to share and express what's on the inside. So the next thing I think we should think about is, after that, is who. What's your target audience? For example, if you like... if you like reaching a lot of people, if you want to reach crowds, then is it large crowds? Is it small crowds? Do you like a close-knit community where you can have a deeper relationship, a closer relationship with your target audience? Or do you want like a vast, little smaller connection, but not a less connection, but a smaller connection but reaching a wider range of people, so like a concert-based setting or traveling the world or whatever you want. Is what you do, does it appeal to younger people? Does it appeal to the youth kind of age or children? Does it appeal, do you do crafts? Are you passionate about crafts? Is that something that could touch children, that could really help children find their passions and find joy in life? Or is it something that could reach out to adults, a mother, maybe a single mom with a hard life, or maybe, it's, you're even just parents in general, or teenagers, or seniors, or, do you want to reach out to people who are homeless? Do you want to reach out to people who are rich? Do you want to reach out to people who are in the business field? Do you want to reach out to people who are in the medical field? Anything. It really could be anything. I couldn't possibly pinpoint one thing. You'll know what it is because you'll think about it and you'll have, what's my passion? Okay, it's this. Why am I doing it? It's because I want to bless people. What are those people that I want to bless? Well, who do you normally gravitate towards? What's your audience like outside of your passion? So you've got your who, your why, your what, and we gotta go where as well. What's your target location? Where do you want to go with this? Well, there's just two different things I want to talk about. Where. One is actual location. Are you more of a, your passion is for you? Like even with the who, that could be just for you. Is your passion for you, or is it for somebody else? It's okay if it's just for you, because it's your passion. Right? So it's your choice if it's for you or if it's for somebody else. Or maybe it's for both you and someone else. I believe that my passion is for other people, but it also blesses me. It also touches me. It also helps me grow. It also helps me develop as a human being, as a person in so many areas of my life. And so where my locations, because I want to target age groups of all generations. The music that I write, I feel, can connect on many different levels. I'd say particularly, if I had to put an age group to it, probably like 16 to 65, or maybe even 80. I don't know. I guess we'll look at the statistics on that. But I would like I would like no one to be excluded, and I want to target specifically with my music the people who have gone through hurt, who have gone through heartache. People who have hit rock bottom, and people who are looking for something real, not something fake in the world, not something that's like a Barbie doll, perfect life. I want people to look at me and say, okay, what, she's got some issues, and I got some issues, so maybe I can listen to her, because those are the kind of people I can relate with too. So for me, where would be basically anywhere I can fit me and my guitar. Anyone who will listen to me. So I couldn't pinpoint that. I could, all over the world, could be concerts, could be small venues, could be family, could be one person walking by. I remember one time I was doing laundry. I was sitting on the curb outside the laundromat, and I just had my guitar and my basket beside me. And I was playing guitar, and a lady walked by. She walked out of a restaurant nearby. She was walking by me. And she looked at me, and again, I was shy, so as soon as she made eye contact with me, I stopped, I froze out. And then she goes, oh no, please don't stop. And I said, oh, okay. I said, and I froze, I didn't know what to do, so she says, well, just keep going and pretend I'm not here, okay? And she stopped, and she sat there, or stood there, and listened to me for probably a good another 5 minutes, and then I stopped because I kind of got nervous again and ran out of ideas of what to play, and she started talking to me. And she started saying, you're very good, and your voice is beautiful, and she says, where'd you learn how to play? And one thing led to the next, and we started talking, and, she gave me her number, and she actually asked if I would be her mentor. And it's funny because I think I was about 18 years old, and she was probably close to her 60s. And she wanted an 18-year-old to be her mentor. So as you can imagine, that was quite a compliment coming from somebody that much older than me. And here I am, just a girl with a guitar, having to pay for laundromat because I didn't have my own laundry machine. So for me, literally, it could be outside of a laundromat, or it could be in a senior's home, or it could be at a fair, or it could be at a concert, or it could be in my bedroom, or it could be out on the front porch and people walking by hearing me. And if I could just put a smile on their face, that's what makes my day. That's what makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. So you got to find out where, I guess when you're finding out what your target audience is, that will help you determine where and what your purpose is. For example, if you are an artist and you draw, and your target audience is people who love nature, so you don't have a generation cap on that either. That could take you all over the world. Or if you're a particular cartoon drawer, and that appeals to a certain age category, let's say between 12 and 35 or something, there might be a particular site, or multiple sites, I imagine, that would let you display your art for people of that particular generation or that particular audience. And that again, where, how can you say where when it's online, right? So that's worldwide. Here's another one, is when. When is kind of interesting one for me. When somebody asks me, what's your favorite season? I used to say winter because my birthday's in winter. But now I say I love each season as they come. Because I believe that, like that cliche, everything happens for a reason. Well, everything happens when it needs to happen as well. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but I think in this particular case, it really kind of rings true to me, because I really feel like there's different seasons in your life, in every aspect of your life, but you're going to notably see, especially in the area of your passion. For example, when I was 4 is when I started music, as far as back as I remember. My dad taught me how to play the harmonica, and my grandfather. And so my dad had a heart for ministry, and he's a pastor, and so he had a heart for ministering to older people, and like probably from like 40s to like up. And he also had a way with ministering to children and teens as well. He's, again, one of those people that he doesn't have a limit on the generation. He would take me to different places, like retirement homes and senior homes and fairs and country fairs and talent shows. And a lot of the population or the audience there were probably from their like 40s and up. So it's probably why I have such a compassion for that generation. So we would go to these senior homes, and we would sing and we would play for these people. And I'd see these smiles light up, and I'd see their eyes light up, and I'd see that it would bless them and touch them. And that was the season for me when I was younger. And when I got older, a season for me was a group thing. So I was in, the concert band, the choir. And then when I got into, after that, after high school, I got into the, being a band director. So now this is like a leadership position. And, for me, that was a huge season in my life that required a lot of change, a lot of stretching, a lot of learning. And then after that, I became a worship leader or a band leader on the worship team for the adults. And so that was another learning experience and more stretching and another season of my life. And And then there was another season in between all that where I wasn't playing live at all. I wasn't even singing out loud. I wasn't even. The only time I'd ever do that was be singing or playing privately in my room with my guitar. And if I could even hear somebody walk by the door, I'd stop. I just felt like there's a time in my life where I needed to be quiet and to rest and to reflect. And so I'm kind of coming out of that now. Well, I guess that's pretty obvious since I just released my very first CD. But I'm starting to come out that now. I'm starting to sing publicly. I volunteer over at the local hospital and I sing to patients over there. And I really enjoy that, and they seem to really enjoy that too. And so that's another season in my life. I haven't done that alone before. I've only ever done it with my dad and my family before, but that time it was by myself. So, I've learned a lot of things from different seasons in my life to carry over into this season. And, I'll continue to have more seasons all through my life. The important thing is recognizing that you're in a different season, and when that happens, you got to sit down and reflect, and you got to check yourself, and you got to say, okay, what's going on right now? Okay, this is what I'm doing. Okay, this is what I'm not doing anymore. Okay, this is what I've learned, so I can apply this to the now. And the last one I want to talk to you today about is how. So the really cool thing about all of this is you get to choose how you want to do it. How far do you want to go with this? Do you want it to be a hobby? Do you want it to be a career? Do you want it to be volunteer work solely? Do you want it to be nonprofit? Do you want it to be for yourself? Do you want it to be for others? Do you want to connect with other people? The how part is really cool. It's very, 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 very wide ranged and very, very vast. But it's all about you. Okay, so how is you going to sit down again? All of these things you got to sit down and reflect. The who, what, where, when, why, and how. With the how is how much do you want out of this? How much you're going to go for it? Because you are only as good as you want to be. And that's why I named this episode, It's All Up to You. How much do you want to do? Do you want to be in a concert setting with thousands of people and a great big band behind you and publicity? And okay, so how do you get there? What can you do now that's a small step or a baby step to get you closer to that goal? For example, I wanted to make a CD. And years and years and years ago, I never thought I would. So I never thought, how can I get there from this? Little did I know, thankfully, as I was playing and practicing and learning guitar, piano, and flute, and all the other instruments, it was preparing me to be able to actually do what I do today and to actually do my album. For example, there's a couple songs with some orchestral instruments in there, and I probably wouldn't have done that if I hadn't been in concert band. And as a kid, I used to eat up classical music. I love classical music, I still do. And my friends thought I was weird for it, whatever. And I just love classical music. It just tells so many different stories, and each and every instrument has a different personality, and is so intricate to me. And so I really feel like that really helped me learn how to actually the process of recording and mixing and micro-editing and where these strings should go and where those trumpets should go and where these, the brass should go versus where the pad should go and the different kinds of guitars you can play. And so there's a lot of that stuff that taught me how to do what I do today. And another thing is how you'll only be good as you want to be is, I always feel like there's always room for improvement. Even though I've learned a lot of things up to this point in my life, I feel like even if I live to be 99 years old, I'll still have things to learn about my passion. And that's so cool. I love learning. And when it comes to your passion, I think you'll find that you'll love learning about it too. And there's always room for improvements. There's always, and the great thing about today's day and age is internet. My mom always said to me, and whenever I asked her a question, she'd say, Google it. If she watches this, she's going to laugh at me. But, she'd say, Google it. And, that actually really helped me because the internet is so vast and so wide. It's got every resource you need. So just type it in. Say, how do I do this? Or brushing up on my guitar skills. I actually went and bought a little book. I don't know if I have it here with me. No, I don't. So I'll have to show it to you guys later. And it's the little black book of scales. It's like this big, just this little tiny book. And it's guitar scales. And I don't know guitar extremely well. I only know it well enough to play along in a band or to record or whatever. But I don't know anything intricate or fancy. So I bought this book thinking, all right, scales are boring. I can't stand them, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I started reading this book and trying these scales, and I'm so frustrating. And it's funny because you don't realize how much theory will help you later on. But that white bass right there, I started playing that. I never played bass before. I actually did some of the bass on the album. And the only reason why I knew how to play it was because I did those scales on guitar. So I knew where my fingers should go and what pattern they should be going up and down in. So it's funny because I never thought the scales would actually really help. It actually helps me play guitar a lot better too. But more fluid motion, knowing what notes go with what. It's like the piano, you learn your scales and your chords so you know which chords are in what key, and you know what your sharps and flats are. So I can't stress enough. I got to tell you, I'm totally one person who hated theory. Totally, it was like the math of music for me. But I have to say, I sit corrected. It's been a long time, many years of doing theory. I'm not perfect at it. I don't know as much as I should, and I'm still learning. But it helps so much, so much in so many ways, and I'm still finding ways it's still helping me to learn some theory. So thanks for tuning in again with me. And on that note, keep it real.